It's Brian Preston, the money guy.
Let's transition to the
dirty 30s.
Well, the settling in, the nesting 30s. That's what I look at it, is that you...
It sounded much more wholesome than what I thought.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like, woo.
I mean, like gritty and grinding.
Settling into your 30s are nesting. And this is what I like about this age, is that you're grasping more of who you are and what brings you fulfillment, what brings you happiness. This is the decade where I think you start connecting the dots, where you know what's going to shape your career, what's going to help you in your personal life so that you have the life that you really want to plan for, and it will really set you up for decades to come. So let's kind of jump into these. I've got 4 things we're going to talk about here before we get into your spot check.
Okay.
Number 1, asset allocation. Now, we told you in your roaring 20s that there's probably a chance. Well, actually, we said the when is more important than the how.
That's right.
But that's because we're just trying to get you into that addiction to saving and building that foundation so that you are an empire builder. So when you get in your 30s, assuming you started in your 20s, you're probably starting to reach a certain level of assets.
Sure.
You know, getting that $200,000 to $300,000 range where you're starting to go, well, I might need a little more asset allocation to spread the risk out, to think about things a little deeper than just stocks, bonds, and cash.
Yep.
So that by all means, we want to make sure that army of dollar bills is being as efficient as possible. That's why asset allocation is an important, definitely a component to understand when you're in your 30s. The next thing is understanding. Number 2 is understanding your relationship of risk and reward.
Oh, yeah. And you're not just talking about from an investment standpoint either, right?
Yeah, no, I'm talking about from life. Because think about this. When you're in your 30s, there's a good chance that's when you start having children. You start focusing on the family. So as soon as you get married, as soon as you have children, you probably want to make sure that you have wills if you have children. Yep. If you have debt, if you have income that would need to be replaced if something should happen to you, you want to make sure you have life insurance. A good, measurement or benchmark is probably 10 times your income.
Yep.
And then if you own a house and also have good earning potential that somebody's counting on, you might want to have disability insurance because you very likely could become disabled, not die, but become disabled. That's just as scary as somebody passing away. So you want to make sure you protect against that.
Another thing that happens in your 30s is if you did start working early in your 20s or in your mid-20s, you kind of have reached that point in time where you've accumulated those 10,000 hours of working experience. And so that does kind of set you up for some higher level things to be thinking about.
Yeah, I mean, you could take. Here's the thing: when you're in your late 20s, early 30s, you've got the 5 years or 10,000 hours of experience. And that's why I like when you start figuring things out when you're at this age, is because maybe you ought to take that crazy risk. Maybe this is the age to figure out: do I move to a different state? Mm-hmm. Do I start a new business?
Yeah.
Do I change careers?
Yeah.
Because you've got enough wisdom about you that it's okay that you're considering going a different path.
And you still have enough time on your side if you're thinking about building towards your 40s and 50s and 60s that you can afford that risk. Your risk capacity is still pretty high at that point.
And that leads into the next component. Number 3 is dollar cost averaging. I like, because when we talk about, compounding interest deconstructed, remember how I told you when you're in your 20s, 90% of the money could come from the growth factor, right? You still have the chance while you're in your 30s to get cheap money. Mm-hmm. The actual statistics are for a 30-year-old, 88.9% of the money is going to come from growth. 77.4% is going to come from growth for 40. So somewhere in that 80% range is going to be the growth of the asset. So make sure you're taking advantage of that. You are hopefully at this stage now graduating past just basic budgeting, and you're doing more of cash flow management. You're doing forced scarcity, which is, and I've talked about this many times. We've even done a full podcast on this, so you can go check it out in the archives. But in general, it's paying yourself first, creating enough automatic savings and funding things that it's creating a situation where no matter what's going on with your income, your success, that you are squeezing and funding those pots of money so that you're taking care of everything.
And now you're probably prioritizing where those pockets of money go. Am I building money in my 401k? Am I doing Roth IRAs? How do I do my after-tax saving? And then one of the big things that we see that happens so often for folks in their 30s is this is that point in time where you have to be very careful not to let lifestyle creep set in.
And that's probably that debt roadblock, which was number 4, was mortgage debt. Mm-hmm. Make sure you understand before you go buy too big of a house or take down too much of a mortgage that you keep it, because you don't want to be house rich, life poor. Sure. You want to kind of flip the script on that and have a lot of money so you can focus on saving, so you can focus on travel, focus on what brings you excitement in life. And a good benchmark for that is try to keep the total expenses for your house between 25 to 28% of your gross income.
Sure. So here's your spot check. If you're in your 30s, from age 30 to 39, your income average across the country falls between $41,000 and $49,000 per individual. So if you're married, you can kind of double that. If you want to be that prodigious accumulator of wealth, according to the Millionaire Next Door wealth formula, you should have an individual net worth of somewhere around $380,000 by the end of your 30s. Or for a couple, you should be just over $750,000 in net worth.